Hi everyone, Aldbar here, and welcome to the Phoenix build wrap-up video. Enjoy! First up, I've got a small mistake that nobody called me out on, so here I'm going to do it myself. I was running some content together with Axel, and I was suggesting him a certain item, and then he gave me this comment.
The only spell power I need is positive, and you gave me that. You gave me that orb with.
Doesn't it stack together with potency?
No, it doesn't.
Just in case you missed it, I didn't realize until this moment that potency is just universal spell power, and it doesn't stack together with the other specific spell power of heal devotion. Basically, this means that the helm that I'm using does not stack together with the belt, in which case all it does is give you a 10% discount to your spell cost, which you can just take off after your buff. Well, instead you can put whatever you want, so either Titania's Glory, but that's Fate Twisted and that can be a pain to farm, or you can use the Dragon Mystique, but that's from a raid. The easiest option probably is from Make Believe. You have Legendary Crown of Leaves. Second thing, I realized that I did not show my character's abilities, so I will hand it over to Warjak to show off his character. Yeah, so here we go. For my stats, I've got +8 stat tomes for all of the stats. I've got 3 extra fate points. So I start off with 15 instead of with the base of 12. I've got either +1 or +2 to all of these special stats of magical resistance, melee power, range power. I've got 2 extra inherent racial action points that I got from a tome. And actually have also 1 extra point that I have from for universal enhancement tree that I also got from a tome. As far as past lives, I really don't have a lot. I only have 1 dwarf past life and 1 human past life, so not a lot of racial past life. Definitely don't have any extra action points from there. I've got 3 from 2 different trees, and then only 2 from the other 2 trees. So that's a total of 10 epic past lives. I'm not even epic completionist, okay? So that should give you a reference to how few epic past lives I have. Here's all of my heroic past lives. So I've got 3 fighter, so that's +3 to my attack. I've got 2 barbarian, so that's another 20 hit points. I've got 2 monk, so that's +2 to damage. Then I got 1 arty, 1 bard, 1 rogue, and 1 warlock. So yeah, you don't have to have a million past lives to be able to run this build and be successful. Don't talk yourself out of it. I'd like to just go out on a limb and say that perhaps the best, most well-rounded version of this build will actually be using a quarterstaff and using Flower of Orion, I forgot his name, and you can get +4 wisdom as a buff, and you'll get Strikethrough, and that'll be the best. But I haven't actually tested it out. If somebody wants to, but if I had to give an educated guess, that's probably it. Okay, and now, story time. Well, everything started about a year ago when I was running the quick stick build, and I realized that my character was struggling, especially when it came to soloing and doing Reaper. The thing that was really killing me is that if I died, I would lose a lot of time, and I wanted some way to recover that time. Also, I wanted to be a little bit more tanky and feel less dependent on having a party or on a small amount of heals, and just overall, feel more safe. So I started thinking about some kind of build that will allow me to achieve all of those goals. At the same time, I actually saw a solo run of Curse of Strahd. This was done using the now non-existent Reborn in Light. The method was that every time you would die to the grip, you could self-resurrect using Reborn in Light, which was a tier 6 ability in the old Epic Destiny system. Now, the gimmick was that every time you died, you had 1 charge per rest, but if you would heal yourself 25 times, it would actually recharge it. You still have to wait a cooldown timer of 10 minutes. So, if you would quickly resurrect and then heal yourself 25 times, you can recharge it up and keep on going endlessly. It's not as simple as that, because the grip can catch you either for half a minute and a half, or 3 minutes. And if you just resurrected yourself on the half-a-minute cycle, you ain't going to be healing yourself 25 times in that half a minute. So you'd have to make sure that you were healing yourself, resurrecting yourself only on the 3-minute cycle. So it was very complicated and complex, and it was really cool. But because of all the waiting time, the whole video takes about 2 hours. So I put in back in my head, I wish I could solo this. Maybe it'll take less time. That was one thing. The other thing is, about the same time I saw that Strahd was putting out videos called Tuning Your Builds, where you basically make a build review. You would submit a review and he would go through it and either tear it down or just fix it up a little bit and add things and help you with items, etc., etc. And I was thinking, hey, maybe I can submit a build and maybe I can, do some kind of a collab with him. I didn't ever tell him I was trying to do a collab with him, but these things were stuck in the back of my mind. And this is how I came around to all these 3 things: needing a build and wanting to do solo Strahd kind of build. I came up with the Phoenix build. The main goal of the Phoenix build was to combine 3 abilities that would self-resurrect you. So it would be Reborn in Light, that came from Exiled Angel, the old Epic Destiny. You would have Rise of the Phoenix, was a tier 5 from the Shinto tree as being a monk, and another, you would have Death Pact, who came from Cleric. So you would have 3 ways to resurrect yourself. Basically, you would have to wait much less to keep on using the self-resurrection timer, and you could speed up the whole thing. So I came up with this build, and the idea was to make a clickbait title video for Strahd that he could review and say, here's the build that can help you solo Curse of Strahd. So that was in the back of my mind. I will say straight out that I had no intention of ever trying, me personally, to solo Curse of Strahd. I thought it was a way above my character's ability, and I didn't think I was going to be able to ever do it. Well, so that's what I did. I submitted a build review. Strahd did the review. It went pretty well, and I even left a comment on the video, hoping that the OG who did their first run of Curse of Strahd might use my build to improve his own time and do a video that took less than an hour. That was the goal I set. Again, not for me, but for somebody else. I didn't ever think that I would be the one doing it. Well, some time passed, and after the quick stick build, I ran a few different past lives. I ran Warlocks, I ran a few different versions of Axe Thrower builds, and some combo of Warlock and Artificer. And I was feeling like, okay, I should actually try that build that I suggested. Maybe it's time to do it. And that's what I did. As soon as I started actually playing the build, I realized there's a whole bunch of things that needed to be optimized. They weren't obvious to me when I was designing it for a character at level 30. So a lot of changes came in, like changing out the levels and a whole bunch of other things to make it optimized and actually playable. A whole bunch of things that went into the build that I was not aware of until I actually played it. So a lot of changes went in when I was actually playing it. I took advantage of this opportunity and made a whole bunch of videos I recorded of quests that don't have traps, because I was running a build who doesn't do traps, and I'm trying to also make solo walkthrough and guide videos for the wiki, and I wanted to make sure that I had it. I always try to show all the trap box and all the optionals, and having a build who can't do traps was a problem. So this was my opportunity to do quests that don't have traps in them. I had to do at a certain point, I had to do a lesser reincarnation +5 just to move some of my monk levels, and then I had to do another lesser reincarnation just to record the video. So that cost me a few DDO points. Another thing that I was trying to fix is when I did the quick stick build, I didn't have proper gear. I did not farm out all the gear that I really wanted. I did the best with what I had and I made the video, but I felt like I could do better on the gear, so this time I stuck around a lot and actually farmed out the gear. I ended up farming out like 3 gear sets, and I spent a lot of shards and re-rolling, and shout out to my good buddy Yeshon for helping me pull stuff from chests. It was a real pain, but I really need to go and get the gear so I could make the best build possible. Basically at this point I had everything I needed, and I went to make a trailer. Well, for the trailer, I was looking for a shot at the beginning that would show me getting hit multiple times, dying multiple times, and then I could show a second version of all these dyings and showing how I either auto-heal or self-resurrect. So this is the intro to the trailer. But I was having problems using the Nightmare. I thought it was really cool, but because of its AoE effect, it was killing me as if it was a trap and auto-resurrecting me, and it didn't work exactly for what I wanted. So this is when I found out that if you die from a trap in the middle of while you have Death Pact on, the Death Pact just vanishes and you become fully live. So I had to find someplace else, and I ended up using the 2 shifter beasts at the beginning of a Make Believe for the trailer. I also had to farm out a pair of boots, the concrete boots, because it extended my critical range so I could take more hits and not instantaneously die, because when I had my auto healing on at full max, nothing could hit me, and if I turned it off, it was kind of shaky. So it was very tricky trying to record that trailer. Also, I was looking for some epic clip to come right before the name drop in the trailer. So I decided I was going to jump into Fall of the Truth and just, you know, kill some dragons and stuff, and hopefully I'll get some cool shots. I stepped into the quest and we started recording once everything came down, and then I realized that, hey, I might be able to finish this quest, and I did. So that got into the trailer, and that was what spawned the video called Challenge Yourself. So that was a nice happy accident. Once I uploaded the Challenge Yourself video, this is when I realized that I'm making a build about potentially soloing Curse of Strahd, but I personally have never actually even stepped into that quest, not even with a group. So I just felt it was kind of like hypocritically to, you know, give advice about trying to challenge yourself when I'm making a build who's meant to be able to do a specific thing, but I've never even attempted. I said, okay, and I stepped into Curse of Strahd solo. I got wrecked right in the first room, so don't have any expectations. But I did have some clips, and I kept those clips and I shoved them at the beginning of the actual build guide. So the beginning opening build guide clips of me stepping into Strahd, and that's from my first attempt. Once I uploaded the trailer, I made sure to stop by Strimtom's stream and tell him that I made a trailer to the build that he reviewed 9 months ago. So he reviewed it, and it was very nice. So thank you again to him for doing that for me. I appreciate it. Anything that people do to promote my videos, I would appreciate, especially people who have the opportunity and a bigger audience. It means a lot. So thank you again. Finally, I wanted to upload the actual build, and it was coming together, but I was still missing one item. I was missing the fail blade from DOJ. And that fail blade was driving me crazy. I looted the chest many times, didn't get anything, and it was finding it really frustrating to try to put together a party to run the DOJ. So I tried to solo it, and I was getting closer and closer, but I just couldn't do it. At the end, I ended up even spending raid timer bypasses just so I could go in and run it again. And my good buddy Esham came again and helped me. So we did a duo, and we did a few with extra party members from our guild, just, to have extra hands on the chest. I didn't have any luck, and I ended up having to just buy the fail blade with the 12,050 runes. And yeah, it was very sad that I had to do that just so I could have a shot of me holding it in the final build guide. Well, but now that I had the fail blade, so I tried to run DOJ again with it in my hand. And you know what? I actually finished it. So that's how DOJ solo video came around, because I was trying to get the blade from the video. Regardless of all this, I did upload the build guide, and it was a, big success. People seemed to like it, and I got lots of nice feedback. So thank you very much to everybody who enjoyed it, and I'm glad people are using it. To me, however, the story just keeps on going. When I was trying to solo DOJ, so I needed to optimize my DPS, and I realized that the current build, the version I was running, wasn't optimized for like killing big raid bosses, and DOJ has a lot of red name you have to kill very quickly. It's not a lot of trash mobs. Those are not the important ones. So I started changing a whole bunch of things, and this is when I discovered Warp History. So I tried a few different Epic Destinies and War Priest, and eventually I got the combo that worked. So when I tried War Priest, this is when I first realized that there's something called Divine Intervention. Divine Intervention, basically, for what I knew at that point, was a buff that you could put on yourself that made it so if you took fatal damage, you wouldn't die. and then the buff would disappear, but you'd be spared from death one time. That's all I knew about it, and it was okay, but I really didn't need it for DOJ. But I had it because I was in War Priest and I needed extra DPS, whatever. So that's my first interaction with it. Soloing DOJ did, however, give me the motivation to maybe try to do some more solo raids. I felt like I had a good character with good gear and take advantage of the opportunity and start running some other things. So I remembered about this time that Abbot is a raid that you can solo, but you have to have some way to self-resurrect yourself. So I said, well, I have a build who can self-resurrect himself. Maybe this is the time to go do it. And so I did. So I ran and started to try to solo Abbot, and actually I did it pretty fast. Like 7 or 8 attempts, I don't remember. But I wasn't really happy with the run that I got. The run that I got wasn't like perfect. So I ended up running a whole bunch of extra runs just to get like the perfect run for the video. It was actually not that hard, and I've ran it since another 3 times at least, even without using Rise of the Phoenix, just by using Cursed Blade and Death Pact combo. So it's totally doable. It's actually not that hard. But I did it, made the video, so I was thinking maybe I could run the epic version of Abbot, known as Mark of Death. Well, Mark of Death is a raid that I've never actually done, never stepped into it, I've never seen it from the inside. I've only watched videos of other people on YouTube, so like, okay, let's give this a shot. And also, I was surprised, but it didn't turn out to be that hard. Actually, because I had a clean slate on it, I tried things that other people probably haven't tried, and I was very successful, so it was very fun. And I got it like in my 7th or 8th attempt, so that was very nice. So having a combo of 2 videos, Abbot solo, was very nice. Around this time, I got approved to be able to post in the fan site for news on the forums. So this was like one of my first posts. It was a double feature, solo, Abbot, heroic and epic. So it was a nice way to start it off. Well, all of this solo raid business was really starting to push me towards the motivation I need to actually maybe try to solo Strahd by myself. And I was thinking, you know, maybe if I keep on optimizing and moving things around, maybe I can. And every time I was trying to solo something new, this meant that I was moving things around in my character and changing up different epic destinies and trying new feats and new things. And it was teaching me a lot about the game and about the character. So this was a great opportunity for me. In one of these iterations, I soloed Caught in the Web. So I don't have a video of it, but here's a screen capture of me finishing. But I was definitely learning new things, and it was very, very fun. So finally I was like, okay, let's try to do it better and see if I can do Curse of Strahd. Well, after fixing up a whole bunch of things about the build, I finally realized that what I will need to get past those greater shadows of hate, but I still didn't have any clue of how to deal with the grip. This stumped me, because once I found out that Reborn in Light had been removed from the game. Well, first I found out that it was nerfed and you can no longer charge it up. It was only once per rest. And now they completely removed it from the game. I'm pointing out, I still have hope that they might add it in as a tier 4 or 5 or 6 of the cores of Exiled Angel when they, increase the level cap. But fingers crossed, I have no idea. Maybe. But I still have hope that it may turn back into the game. But for now, it did not exist, and I was stuck with only 2 self-resurrections and Cursed Blade, and that wouldn't be enough to be able to solo Strahd if I died every time. But I just tried to solo anyways and just see what happened with the grip. And this is the point that I realized that maybe Divine Intervention would work on the grip. I tried it on the grip, and it did work. What I did not realize is that if you do not get incapacitated, if you don't get knocked down, the grip does dissipate. I did not realize that at the beginning, and I was still stumped. It only, all of a sudden, I don't remember what happened, but I had this breakthrough where it clicked, and I realized that actually, if I don't drop low enough, that means if I have enough hit points at all times, when the Divine Intervention is on, even when I get gripped, I will not die, and it will stay on. In which case, all of a sudden, I had this moment where I feel like, I can actually do this. This is actually doable. And not only is it doable, I can do it, and it can be flawless victory because I can do it without dying at all. So this was amazing to me. So I really wanted to push for this and get it done. One of the things I was realizing is that I just did not have enough DPS, and like at this point, I went and did my farming for a different DPS helm. So I got Titania's Glory after finding, you know, fake twisted chests till I was sick of it. And then I realized that the Greater Shadows of Hate don't take damage from the Holy. So that was really dumb. So I got my Masik out, whatever the one from the comes from the raid, Fire on, I can't remember, Thunder Top, whatever it's called, and that's negative damage, who heals Strahd. So between the two of them, I had one helm that would work in each situation. So, but I needed some extra things to make enough DPS to get through. Well, after a lot of headaches and a lot of very long recordings, I finally successfully soloed Curse of Strahd, which is something that I never thought I was going to be actually doing. So at this point, I felt like the build that I created actually achieved the goal that it kind of set out to do in the first place, even though I never had intention of doing it myself. So yeah, I guess taking my own advice was a good idea. Well, at this point, I wanted to tell Strimtom about the build. So I went on his stream and I told him that, yeah, by the way, the thing that I set out to do with the build that you reviewed for me, whatever it is, 10 months ago, whatever, so I actually did it. I wanted to see if he knew what I was referencing, and he got it.
Build you reviewed for you 10 months ago? Oh, did you solo Strahd? You finally soloed the Strahd raid? That's exciting! Congratulations, dude. I'm proud of you. A hearty hydration in honor. Soloing a raid is always challenging. Soloing a raid with as many moving parts as the Strahd raid is also challenging. Video? Yes. Is this the YouTube video? Oh ho ho ho. Curse of Strahd solo walkthrough and guide. An hour? Oh. That sounds like a rough hour. There you go. Just give me timestamps for the crying section. Crying? No, 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 no. No crying. No crying.
Well, that of course was very nice. So I wanted to promote the video a bit. And so I jumped over to Voodoo, who I know does solo raids, and I assumed you would appreciate this a lot.
Solo guide for Curse of Strahd. Nice. Man, I can't even imagine dealing with the brides and Strahd at the same time. I've never tried to solo that one. That seems like it'd be a pain to... You'd have to keep... Man. Prepping all that nonsense at the same time.
Here's when I told him about the grip. This head-scratching moment is just epic.
And grip, yeah. What do you do about the grip? Is that another one of your Rise of the Phoenix things? Like you gotta raise yourself? That's right.
Well, while all this is going on, my good buddy Eshon was waiting for me to TR already. Had done 2.5 TRs, and he's basically waiting for me while I'm stuck at cap because I'm making the variations video for the Phoenix build. By the way, that variations build for the Phoenix build got out of control, and the file on my computer ended up being the folder ended up being 100 gigabytes of data. So it was a massive project who grew arms and legs and drove me crazy, and it was crippling at a certain point. I didn't know how I was going to finish it. So I'm very lucky that video actually made it out. It was around this time when I was editing the video that somebody actually pointed out the mistake that I made about the strike-through. And not only did they point it out, they actually explained how they tested it, rather than just saying, hey, you're wrong, the wiki says so. And I said, oh, well, that sounds intriguing. After all, I try not to just quote the wiki. I try to test things myself, and if I came out with something, I will present it the way I see it. And here's somebody who said that they tested it in a similar fashion to the way I was testing it, but came out with a different result. So I said retesting is in order, and I found out that I was wrong. So I made sure that I put that in right at the beginning of the Phoenix build variations video. So thank you very much for pointing it out and for explaining how you tested it. So that's very important. While we're on that topic, here's a little bit more of an explanation so it doesn't sound like I'm a total weirdo and don't know how to test. Here's how I got to 100% strike through with this build. I took human for a greater weapon aptitude. I took barbarian to get the two tiers, tier 2 and tier 3. They gave me each plus 20% strike through. And I get another 20 from rogue. So that's 80% plus the 20% of the base, for a total of 100% strike through that just shows up in my character tab, regardless of the fact that I'm not actually using a strike through weapon. Now that I have this, I can do testing and prove does strike through work or not. So I want you to look very close at what you're seeing right now. Look very closely and you'll see that I am hitting both dummies. Both of them move. Both of them move, and I'm still using only a longsword. If you look closer, you'll notice that both of them move, but only one of them is taking damage. Unlike when I hit it with a bastard sword, both of them take damage. And I was confusing this. I wasn't paying attention to the damage numbers. And when you swing, you can have damage come off of any one of them, but only one if it's not striking through. But I was just looking, seeing damage numbers, and thought, well, I'm hitting both. And this is the beginning of my confusion. The second thing is, if you watch the way you strike through with a greatsword, you'll see that the damage comes off both dummies, one a little bit right after the other, okay? Well, they hit like a split second one after the other. Same thing with the bastard sword. And if you look very closely at this, here you'll see I'm striking with both weapons, both hands, and I've got numbers coming off both, 2 layers one on top of each other, who to me seemed like conclusive evidence that I can strike through with a longsword while using it in 2-weapon fighting. But you can't. And here's the mistake. This is very counterintuitive. When you click a single strike with 2-weapon fighting, you see the weapon animation of you striking with your right hand. You are actually performing an attack with both hands. So the 2 numbers that come off the dummy, that's your right hand and your left hand hitting. And if I strike again, now my left hand animation, just again, it's me attacking, and I can hit with both hands. So while my right hand strike animation was hitting the dummy on the left, my left hand strike animation was hitting on the right. Each one of them was doing a strike with both hands. And this is very counterintuitive and confusing, and this is how you come out with mistakes like this. So finally, I have to say that I hope they fix it visually, but more importantly, currently, there's a bug that must be fixed. Right now it says that you can have 100% strike through with a longsword, which is just wrong. So either they should say that it has 0% strike through, and that's the way it is working as intended, but just should say that it's 0%, or maybe make it that you can actually strike through with a longsword. Either way would be fine with me. As long as it was consistent, I'll be happy with it. Finally, after uploading the Phoenix build variations video, it was time to work up on, well, the wrap-up video, this video. I decided that it would be very nice to give my viewers an opportunity to vote on my next build. I've got many builds in my build folder, and I picked 5 that I thought I would like and would be happy to try next. And I presented the list for my viewers to vote on. And I can say that, well, Samurai build is the winner with over 160 votes. And he's got like 34%, so there you go. So that should be the next build guide, hopefully sometime in the near future. Well, with that, I think it's time to wrap up this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I have a few more videos coming. I have still stashed away 2 solo runs of Honda Zoriat. They'll come out sometime soon, I hope. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much. I hope you keep on supporting me on these great projects, and I hope to keep on putting out good content like this. Yeah, see you all. Bye.